What started as cross-border clashes between Israel and Hezbollah has now evolved, I should say, into full-blown strikes. Since last week's fatal incidents involving exploding pagers and walkie-talkies, both parties have launched a series of attacks on one another. So what are the chances of a full-scale war in the region? Joining me now is former Australian ambassador to Lebanon, Ian Parmeter. Ian, thanks so much for your time. You must be looking at what's happening between Israel and Lebanon with great interest at the moment. If I could take you back to last week and the extraordinary new phase in this war with those exploding electronic devices, what would life be like in Lebanon right now?
I think people would be very worried indeed, because the last time tensions between Israel and Hezbollah reached this level was in 2006, when Israel did actually launch a ground invasion of southern Lebanon. But more than that, it used its aircraft to destroy a great deal of Lebanese infrastructure, to hit the airport, hit bridges, hit power stations. It was a very major attack. People in Lebanon who are not associated with Hezbollah will be very much afraid that they could be heading towards something like that again,
Yes.
which of course would totally destroy their means of livelihood.
Yes, not unjustified and completely not unfounded either. Given, your knowing the history between these two nations and how tension can escalate, and we hear the rhetoric on both sides. Hezbollah saying Israel has crossed every single red line, and Benjamin Netanyahu seeming never to take a backward step. Where do you see this all headed?
Well, it certainly could become a very major escalation with the potential for another Israeli ground invasion. I don't think we're there yet. Hezbollah overnight fired something like 150 missiles and drones, rockets at Israeli targets, and caused some destruction. But we know that Hezbollah has the capacity to fire up to 3,000 missiles in one day if it really decides to use the 150,000 rockets that it has at its disposal in a very serious war. But similarly, with Israel, Israel has moved a second division of soldiers into northern Israel, but they're still a long way from being prepared for a ground invasion. There is scope still for some sort of calming of the situation, but the longer it goes on, the more it risks getting to the stage of major attacks by both sides.